Well, good evening, everybody. Nice to meet you tonight in our Saturday night discussion. As we've known, today we are going to discuss an interesting topic about Papuan forest fires. Before I give the chance to our moderator tonight, I will share or give you the information regarding our rules for our tonight's discussion. First, while another speaker, like the moderator, for example, is speaking, you should mute your microphone so you will not disturb others. And the second one, you are not able to give your statement if the moderator doesn't allow you to speak up. So please respect our moderator tonight. She is Miss Nada. Then third, please focus on the topic discussion. All right. You can share your ideas, everything about our topic tonight. And subsequently, the hosts are capable of cutting your statement if the moderator thinks that that's enough. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, you should again respect our moderator. And furthermore, please encourage to be active in the discussion, since actually tonight all of us are studying together, so there is no like the specific speaker as a normal seminars or talk show. Tonight, actually, all of us are the speakers. All of us are studying together. So yeah, don't worry. You are able to give your statements. Yes, just speak up. You can both enhance your knowledge, insights, and your English performance, English skills. Then the last, please raise hand on the notification of participants. All right, guys, please try to raise your hand, uh, like what has been done by Mr. Kibo and Mr. Fatullah so far. You can click the participants box below. Then there is some options about raise hand. Okay, please click that. All right, Mr. Kudori, Mr. Andre, Asmira, Fea, because later when you wanna speak up, you can raise your hand using that option. All right, Mr. Eko Prasetyo, Mr. Uchin, Miss Christiana Relly, all right, great. Miss Asmira Fea, Mr. Uchin, Miss Asmira, please raise your hand. You can raise your hand. There is an option on the participant box below. Okay, Mr. Musin, Mr. Uchin. Okay, great. Miss Christiana Relly, Mr. Fatan Abdillah, please try to raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Fatan, Miss Reni. Okay, great. So that's the way. If you wanna speak up later, you can raise your hand. Then you can lower your hand again tonight, because we are going to start our discussion soon. Okay, thank you everyone. Without further ado, I will give the chance to our moderator, Nada. Nada, time is yours.
Okay. Am I audible?
Good evening.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for Pata community for having me in today's discussions. And yeah. Um, let's get the ball rolling by introducing myself first. My name is Diana. So my friends call me Nadia. And today we would like to talk about Papua forest fires. And first of all, let me share the experience first.
Miss Nader, your voice is unclear.
Maybe there's a problem with your headset.
Okay. Well, good evening, the speakers here. And today we would like to talk about Papua forest fires, which has been a controversial issue for lately. And before we directly choose who to blame of this issue, I would like to let you all to take the forest fires in general first. Well, forest fires. Throughout the world, forest fires are out of control, not because of conflagrations regularly features on our televisions, but fundamentally because governments, international agencies, and importantly, communities have failed to agree on how fires should be managed. And also, fire problems are increasing nowadays. Many people, many millions of hectares have burned in the last 3 decades, affecting health and livelihoods for tens of millions of people, costing billions of dollars. These
Yeah, I can
problems
hear too.
have brought to the attention of governments, donors, and
Could you check your
non-government
device first?
organizations who make large investment in fire management projects.
Miss Nada, sorry, we cannot hear you clearly. Maybe you can fix your headset first.
Pardon?
So actually, we cannot hear you clearly. Maybe you can fix your headset, probably your headset position.
I'm sorry, Miss Angga, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, I cannot hear you clearly too, Mr. Nada. We cannot hear you clearly.
Ah,
Mhm.
okay.
Your
I think
voice is like
I
break.
need to
Mhm.
turn off my video because it's unstable connections here.
Okay. Sorry, Miss Nada. Thank you.
Well, is it already good?
All right,
Wow.
it's clearer.
It's nice. That's clear.
It's better.
It's nice.
Nice.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay. Let's continue to the next slide. Well, why forest fires? It can be an issue because I look forest fires as an issue because it's effects that influence many aspects. For the first, it influence for the environment, like air pollutions release large amounts of carbon into atmosphere and others. And the second one, forest fires also give influence to human, like causing respiratory illness and also lung damage. And also, uh, forest fires also give impacts to the animals that live in the forest itself. For example, it destroys much of the natural habitats of Indonesia's orangutans. But actually, it's not only orangutan that get damaged because of forest fires, but also there are many other animals that lost their habitat due to the fact that forest fires itself. Yeah, but first of all, I would like to discuss it with the speakers here. Why do you think forest fires is an issue that need to be discussed? Why is it so important to be discussed? Perhaps anyone can Any idea about these forest fires? Okay, Mr. Aji, time is yours.
Yeah, I guess this is substantial problem that is to be discussed, to be shared and broadened of audiences, because the way that we can grow our economy, it will be impossible when we have side effects such as destruction of the environment. Yeah, of course, in the long term, it will be so reducing, exacerbating our conditions to be defaulting our country about environmentally. So yeah, it is pivotal because when we can grow like industrial growth, you know, relying on manufactured products, but we don't have any substantial balance about nature in long term. Many scientists predicted that in 2000 and I mean 22nd century, we are going to the loss of the world because the climate change is increasing while everything it will be useless that is produced because we cannot live anymore in this earth because this is overload, this is too polluted, and it is something that we can make sure our future would be not getting impacted by the bad effects because Indonesia now is a lungs of the world also, and we should protect it in order to make or maybe just for getting the strong influence internationally. And that is my opinion first. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Raji, for the opinion. And yeah, I agree with you. Well, that's why today we need to discuss about forest fires more, which is yeah, particularly we take a look for the Papua forest fire itself. Well, next, did you know that data from the MODIS imaging sensor of the Terra and Aqua satellites compiled by environmental group Auriga Nusantara between 2001 and 2019 show that land and forest fires regularly occurred in 7 provinces like Riau, Jambi, South Sumatra, West Kalimantan, South Kalimantan, Central Kalimantan, and also Papua. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it can be elicited that the majority of the forest fires itself happen mostly in Kalimantan, right? Well, but unfortunately, there are some questions about this data. Well, why do Indonesia's forest fires burn each year? There are some debatable argument about it. So yeah, perhaps anyone have opinion about it? Okay. Mm, Mr. or Mrs. Sunshine. I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, time is here.
Okay, am I audible or is it too crowded right here?
Yeah, it's already clear.
Okay, thank you for the time. So I guess there will be two types of reasoning to answer the question. The first one is caused by natural reason, natural causes, for example, like yeah, bush fire can happen naturally. But at the same time, there will be uh, external or what is it, like made up disaster. For example, like for the existence of wider space to build small buildings or to replant with different types of plants that actually can increase the profit of particular parties. Yeah, it can happen. Yeah, the burning of forests can also be justified based on the corporations that have big influence to our country Indonesia. Basically, that's what happened in the video graphic that actually so popular. Uh, how to say it? Love killer or Indonesia. I couldn't recall the exact or the precise
Mau
name
kantor
of the
aja.
video, but yeah, it in fact
Itu kalau nanda mau,
describe it perfectly
ayo
about
makan. Kalau nanda
conditions
habisan
of
di sini
the
aja.
president of Indonesia,
Ini
right?
sudah saya makan
I
nanti.
think that's one thing. Thank you.
Biar saya makan nanti. Dre ngomong Dre.
Okay, thank you, Mr. And then I like there are three another speakers that would like to give their opinion. For the first, for Mr. Aji. So time is yours, Mr.
Okay, directly answer. Every year we have this problem because the opening of land plantation business. I mean, like palm oil and so many more. But when we can trace back the root causes of this, when we see the extractive government supported by the businessmen on this field and also the foreign investment that which is wanna increasing the leveraging about doing the business, which is the consequences is destroying the nature. It doesn't matter for them as long as they obtain the profits. So with the combination of extractive government and the profit business oriented from the direct investment, foreign direct investment, it is optimizing the destruction of the forest like fire burn like this is happening every year because the only thing to open the land plantation business is to burn the forest itself. And then we are unable to tackling this. Maybe just my little short argument on the opening. As long as we have still extractive government means that the constituents behind the government is the businessman, like a lot of businessmen that so bastard it outside of that. So as long as the government could be in inclusive way, and then we can protect our economically by reducing the rely on foreign investment that is bad totally. So we can what's that revive or invoke or just repair this situation gradually. This is my short argument. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Aji. And let's hear for the another perspective from Mr. Ahmad Fatullah Abida. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nada, for this opportunity. Maybe it's just my assumption. Firstly, I assume that it could be happen because yeah, natural disaster. We know that we are one of tropical country in the. I mean, we face a dry period in several months, and it will make the lack of water in the forest itself. So the forest fire could be happen because of the heat temperature in the midst of less water period. But I do agree from Mr. Aji perspective that okay, maybe many companies will open the forest by deforestation the forest by burning them because in my opinion too there are many surveyor and then selecting one and one trees and then you cut one by one. Maybe it will be so costly rather than we burn it. So they directly burn it because it's much cheaper. So they will do it so easily. Seems like ABC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. And let's hear for the next speakers from Mr. Kibo. Time is yours.
Yeah, actually, it's so simple regarding why burning forest is happens every year. It's because of the needs. There are two yeah there are two users that especially get the needs of why burning forest happens. The first of all is because of the people, because people every year they're always increasing, and of course they'll try to increase the productivity of the factories that they have to produce more and more every years. So these are the reasons that they have to open the new lands, they have to open the new market, they have to open the new factories even though they have to do kind of the things like burning a forest. And the second is the country needs. Yeah, the country needs means, for example, it's like President of Jokowi has a burden that they have to open the new job vacancies every years, because every year it will try to produce the new graduate students that they also need a job in the situation. And also this is the responsibility of the countries, how to open the job field, especially for their every citizen. So this is the reason that they give the legality, they give the permit, especially for the companies to open the new lands. And after the trying to open the new lands, of course, companies and also the several factories, they need something that will get a beneficial for their companies. One of them is what Fitra said before. They try to open the new land. When they try to open the new lands, they try to use a kind of the ways that they'll try to avoid a costly. One of them is doing a burning of forest, because burning of forest, they're trying to what spend so much money than only trying to cut the trees one by one. So this is the reasons that forest burning happens always every year. It's not only in Indonesia, in Australia, in the several countries that related with their forests, they also get the same problem like us. But the point is how to be strictly. When you work as a government, you have to give the clear regulation. You have to give kind of the thing that make many companies will be afraid to abuse their legality. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kibo. And I see that Mr. Aji would like to respond for the opinion. Okay, Mr.
Yeah.
Aji,
Okay,
time
thank
is
you.
yours.
I want to give a response to Kibo said previously. So the concept of productivity is merely flawed from that is proposed by the classical economy. Increasing productivity at once with destroying the nature is not inclusive of economic thinking. Heterodox economic thinking offers differently about that. It is when we can see the very big understanding of why unemployment exists is not because the lack of an opportunity of, for example, government providing job vacancy for inviting investment, not on that. For example, foreign investment coming to our country, when we can see in BOP, balance of payment, or of our report, it is only coming through liability of an asset. Foreign investment is on our liability, means investor, when they give to 2,000 trillion, they need to obtain back 4 or 5,000 trillion because it is on our liability sheet. Means foreign investment is profit extracted. It is destroying our country at all. And then when we can see the true lens of economy, unemployment exists because of the policy. Unemployment is a political decision. Government can afford everything in its own currency, including wasting resources called unemployment. The problem when we look at our productivity now compared to the other countries, we have low because uh, discriminated people that have been unemployed in long times, they don't have opportunity to enter the job to the job pool. So it is the task of the government to provide job guarantee program to the most excluded people, to hire their skill, to increase their skill, to increase their capabilities, and also we can solving our dependency, for example, to import mainly about food, mainly about manufactured products and energy. You can hire them, like when you can see in the Green New Deal in US back then, unemployed people got hired by the government Roosevelt era for building up the public infrastructure, for do the reforestation, and anything that it will be useful to our society, not for destroying the nature or destroying the economy of our country itself. So I do disagree with the causes that we should open the land to provide job vacancies. It's not. They're just dampening out, I mean, weakening the majority with profit extracting activity business that destroy the nature at once with gaining inequality between the usual people as a majority and the constituents behind the government, called oligarchies, called the business that in the big corporation they are creating the government that can support their interests. So I disagree with that, I guess. Oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mister. And yeah, um, I also would like to add some opinion for myself. I also think that the fires were mostly triggered by land clearance using the slash and burn technique and by dried up with land, and also it even exacerbated by dry season itself. That's why um, the speaker's opinions actually true about why do Indonesia's forests burn each year. All right. Well, let's continue for the next slides. So, what happened in Papua? Papua forest fires. Well, in the latest week, we all know that Indonesia have been shocked about the current news about Papua forest fires. There are some debatable arguments about this issue, about this news, and I would like to show you about some facts about Papua forest fires. The first one is an independent investigations based on satellite imagery has concluded that palm oil giant Corindo deliberately set fires to clear rainforests in its concessions in Indonesia's Papuan province. Next, researchers from the University of London's Forensic Architecture Group and Greenpeace found that the spread and speed of the burning matched the pattern of land clearing and didn't appear as random as fires on neighboring concessions. And the third one, the finding is the latest allegations of illegal burning by Corindo, which is accused of having cleared a Chichago-sized area of rainforest in Papua. Next, the company also accused nearby villagers of net setting the fires, but the villagers' accounts of Corindo employees starting the fires matches with the burn periods determined by the analysis. Well, let's discuss about these facts. No. First of all, I would like to ask about the opinion from the speakers here. What do you think about Papua forest fires itself? Perhaps anyone can give the opinion about it. Okay, Mr. Kibo. Okay, time is yours.
Yeah, if you talk about Papua forest fires, is also be same with the several cities that happened several years ago. One of them is in Riau, what you mentioned before, and also the problem is almost same. Yeah, it's because of the society doesn't have the good skill how to read, the literacy still lack, and the several problems that's related with their education and others. Because based on the fact that has been mentioned by the Petrus, one of the connectors, and also one of the counselor of the 10 clans in Papua, they mentioned that they have been deceived by the government, they have been deceived by the companies because of the lack of skill, how to do a consideration, how to decide that decisions exactly. So this is the reasons that in every site of the situations, yeah, it's like what the Papua done before. We have to learn that one of the biggest problem of Indonesia is because of the education, because of the literacy and others that make them trying to sign one of the proposal that they haven't known, that they haven't learned before, that it'll try to impact the land, it'll try to impact their place and others. I learned in 2018 when I went to one of the remote area in Indonesia, in Jambi, exactly, because I taught there in Sokola Rimba, and they cannot know how to read, but uh, suddenly there is one of people from the government, they're trying to give that paper, without and trying to say if you trying to sign it, your place will be protected. But finally, everything is different. Everything's that they mentioned before is protected, but with government ways. They're trying to make cagar alam, how to say that, it will trying to distort the indigenous people that stay there because they doesn't understand with the way that the government tried to implement it to them, example. So this is the reason that is almost same, yeah, with the problem of uh, Papua forest fires. It happens, they got the opportunity to open the land because what they did, because they signed the signatures that give a right to Corindo trying to open their land or their companies at there. Yeah, this is my assessment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kibo. Next, there are two another speakers. The first one, let's hear the opinion from Mr. Sunshine. Okay, time is yours, Mr.
Thank you so much for the time given. As the speaker after Mr. Tigo, I'd like to highlight two things. The first is related to the educational impacts that have been massively influencing the conditions of privileges given to our Papua people. And the second one is related to the government's endeavor to change the current situation. Back to the first one, I'd say that, in fact, I actually teach a student coming from Papua, and it's so hard to teach them because there is how to say, this uh, the gap. There is a big or a huge gap that's separating the education level from eastern side of Indonesia to the center side of Japanese centers, Japanese line or island. So basically, what was taught over there for junior high school was something taught here for elementary school. So there is a huge gap that it even creates such underdevelopment situations right there. Everyone seems so hard, and what's even so hard uh, to pursue something related to the law and education. And at the same time, there are so many Papua students or Papua people that study in Java that they have less willingness to come back to return or to the group condition at their hometown, and it's something terrible. And the second one, something related to government's endeavor, government attempts to change the whole circumstances happening in Papua. Yeah. The first thing that we need to underline is that not only in Papua, in many cases, blaming the society for every calamity or disaster related to the developments of um, corporation building is so common. And what should be done by the government itself is that they need to prioritize the beautiful of the pictures landscapes that only possessed by Papua. For example, like Raja Ampat, they need to explore more, sell more from that part instead of only digging those mines over and over. And at the end of the day, it will only create such a destruction or destructive impact toward not only Papua itself, but also for Indonesia in general. I think that's from me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. And I also see there is some another speaker that would like to give their opinion. So please, for Miss Miss Sinarali, time is yours.
guess Miss Christiana time now.
We cannot hear your voice, Miss Christiana.
I'm sorry,
What
Miss
if my
Christiana. I
preference?
think we couldn't hear your voice clearly. Well, I think Miss Christiana is just trying to fix the problem. Um, yeah, we will wait for it, and let's continue for Mr. ID first.
Okay, probably I would be giving different opinion with first speaker before people. I guess a lot of people that so educated, like for example, the Laksono and the group community like Greenpeace and so many NGO that propagate that you know this is bad for our environment. This is bad to our society. This is and it will be unsustainable. But the problem is the government is behind that interest of the company. So when you're opposing that interest, of course you'll be persecuted, or maybe you can be killed or murdered. Because when we see a lot of investigators in a lot of occasion like this, for example, in Kalimantan and Sumatra, the investigator then had been killed because they want to open, they want to share their investigation that this is totally maladministration, this is totally bad to society, this is totally destroying the nature, bad for the villagers, and so many more. So the only thing that we can do now is consolidate our power to win, called de facto political power. What is that? We should consolidate as a majority that near with the government. For example, Japanese people, for example, we in Japan should be in one union, whatever the party is, to represent our interests in our legislation. So without we have a bargaining power as a majority here in Japan, especially, it's impossible for protecting or for preventing this occasion happens. So in the future, when the government still have a characteristic of extractivity like this, so the same case like this will happen. For example, maybe in another place. It is inevitable. So uh, my references that maybe you can read on after this is Why Nation Fail, Where Democracy Dies, the original this determination of sorry, authoritarianism and democracy, a lot of things that you can read about that book. It is the first is caused by the extractive government. They are behind the interest of this uh, interest of company because the company or the shareholders or the owner of this company is supporting funds to the elected candidates. When you can see the funds behind the Jokowi before he got elected back then, they were coming from oligarchies, the owner of companies like this. So it is my assumption, analysis about this case. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Aji. Um, okay, and next for Mr. Tibo again. Kami Mr.
Yeah, so let's talk about the facts exactly. Especially in 2015, yeah, there several people from the Korindro or in Indonesia, the PT Kobe Tunas Sawo Erma. They're trying to come to one of people that called by Petrus as the coordinator that tried to connect their companies with 10 clans, suku, with 10 clans of the people there to do the consolidation and others. With the statement, Bapak, nanti kami kasih honor upah Bapak sebagai koordinator nanti biaya pendidikan anak ditanggung perusahaan, nanti ada rumah bantuan, sumur air bersih nanti ada genset. So this is kind of the statement that has been given from the Corindo to the Petrus. So the Petrus, as the men that still stay in the lack of thing in their life, is like they don't reach, they don't have so much money, and others is almost same with the people there. They will feel, wow, my children will get the education if if I try to give my eager, especially how to connect between the 10 clans there. And in 2015, in every clan get 100 million for 1 hectares. Yeah, regarding to the preserve, regarding to the permit from the 10 clans that their land has been taken in the situation. And totally, the Corindo spend 1 million, yeah, or 1 billion to the people there to get to ask the access, especially for the companies to open the land. And in the end, there are problems that happen. Greenpeace tried to help, and one statement, Greenpeace also get bribed by other stakeholders. They got the video in 2013, and the big question why they upload in 2020. So it's kind of the conspiracy also that happened, especially inside of the Greenpeace. Maybe there are money in 2014 that make them cannot upload it. Maybe there are money in 2017, and in 2020 they don't. The people there doesn't give them money again that make them trying to upload that videos. And this is the big question also. The several stakeholders try to help that Corindo. There are two stakeholders that try to support the Papuanese people. First of all, is coming from I forget one of organization in their adat, and this is the reasons that the several people can be influenced by money. So this is the reason that make us as the youth we have to responsible that regarding to the education of the people around us that trying to give much to give the education if they have to preserve and also they have to protect the forest. So in the last statement, when the all of Papuanese, especially that stay in that area, try to protest to the government, trying to protest to the companies, and with the simple statement by the companies, they try to mention that okay, the government have give the regulation, have give the permit, so this is not our task again to ask permission to you, and we give 1 billion is only how to make us will be safe, especially when we trying to make our companies there. When the Papuan trying to do a protest, they're trying to attack the companies, and police soldier will come, yeah, because a kind of the movement that have done by the Papuanese there, it's called by betrayal, pengkhianatan. It's called by separatism and others, because they're trying to oppose the government that has given the legality for that companies. And with the simple question also, if we try to ask the government and the government says this is not our era, give that signature, give that permit to Corindo, but the previous era, and one person to another person try to blame each others, and even the government they're trying to say we stand with Papuanese, but we have signature that it's because of the previous era have signature that. So this is the problem exactly. So kind of the thing that I want to tell in this occasion is there is no the nationalism of the people is it's like a shit when they're trying to say for the country to the country, for the people to the people, do not be perished from this earth. And I suppose that is what is kind of the things that is really difficult to find, especially in this era exactly. So this is the reason many stakeholders is involved, especially in this situation, and there is no one trying to help Papuan because There is no money. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Tiga. That's a great opinion, I think. And let's hear for Dr. Ajit's opinion again. Let me share, Mr.
Okay, I want to add Noam Chomsky's statement that keeping people still poor, keeping people still uneducated, keeping people still being unemployed is how the way we can dampen them out from being constrained of representing the interest of the elites. So in the situation, when we see the clear vision about unemployment, about uneducated people, about poor people, it's a political decision. So uh, with preserving them still being uneducated like that and so on, it is the perfect way for the oligarchies colonizing our own country, our own exploiting our own natural resources, and so many more, exploiting the workers, and so many more. Okay, when we see clearly about this, and I'm just going to understand about share the problem of inequality. 1% of our population own 60% of wealth of our country. US are purely capitalist country. 1% of them only have 37%. I mean, you can see the data now, 2020 on Thomas Piketty. So it is the what is that? The sign that the government is extractive. This is the characteristic. So when I'll be president, when the majority have a power, bargaining power so many more that can promoting a candidate, correct candidate, inclusive candidate. So currency is for a country like Indonesia that issuing its own IOU and taxing its own IOU can afford everything domestically, including unemployment, including education, so many more. But there is no willingness from the extractive government. So it is. I have what's from who is the name Martin Luther King that those who love peace must learn to organize as effectively as those who love war. So it is now the calling of doing war from majority to throwing the extractive government owned by the elites. That's my opinion.
Well, thank you, Mr. Aji. And perhaps Mr. Tiga wanna add another opinion? I'm sorry,
Unmute it
Mr. You
first.
have unmute
Unmute.
yourself.
Yeah, well, I just want to add the Ajit statement regarding to the theoretical from Chomsky that has mentioned before, and I'd like to give or strengthen this statement strongly. Based on my opinions, whether your movement is in the left as a communist, whether a movement is in the right as the capitalist and others, but if you are out of regulations, what the countries or your nations implement, give it, and you are extremely wrong. So it's not talking about the left or the right in this question, but if you are out of the regulation that has been discussed together by legislative uh, and legislative and judicative and kind of the stakeholders that has give this decision regarding to regulation, you will be wrong if you order from that regulations. But the problem is in the implementation. Last week we talked about the government of Jakarta uh, when they give the punishment only 50 million, especially for the people that has broke the COVID-19 protocol and others, is because of their friends. It's almost same what happened, especially in Papua, exactly, and also the several cities and regions in Indonesia. Could you imagine? In 2015 and 2019, the first companies that has made and also has burned the lands that has they have burned the land. The most one, the biggest one is coming from Bakri's company. Is the first one, and the second is Atra based agro plantation that happened in Papua right now, and the third is Lipo, and the fourth is Salim Groups. So it's kind of the things that they are related with oligarchy. They're part of the oligarchy and also the part of the government. So isn't make the big problem how to decide well that every side of them the needs a profit, and also they have the right, they have the hands how to steer the regulation. It's kind of the thing that we have to kill in our countries, that everything should implement fairly. So please, I don't blame the oligarchy in the situations, but we have to clean from the nepotism, we have to clean from the corruption and others. Even though you are oligarchy, you are as the government too. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fibo, for your opinion. I could say that this issue about Papua forest fires is a complicated news. Yeah, I can see that it also relates to the government itself, it relates to the Corindo, or yeah, like Mr. Tibo said before, it also caused by the uh, what is that, the uneducated people in Papua that they didn't really know about the regulations that actually will made by the Corindo itself. And yeah, uh, I also hear some one of the speakers said that about Greenpeace itself. Why does Greenpeace show this news in 2020? But actually, this forest fires in Papua is not the first one. We can know that forest fires in Papua has been happening for many years, not only in 2020, but it's takes many years that hasn't been clear enough about this news, and that's why there are still some debatable arguments out there about who actually um, should be blamed about this news, who's actually responsible for these forest fires in Papua. Yeah, let's continue for the next slide. There are three. Um,
Can I talk, Miss?
oh, okay. Do you wanna give your arguments, Mr.
Yes. Thank you. Sorry. Here is too cold because they don't burn any forest around here. So I want to talk from different perspective about because I don't think that we need to blame anything because this already happened and that's happened every year, not only in Indonesia. We fortunately we still have forests that the first world country like America, they don't have any forest anymore because they already burned that in the past. So now they critique many country because they already did that before. And I think we cannot always how to say push our government to be perfect. We want to the economy to be better every year, and we also want to be keep the all the environment keep clean, don't doesn't change anything and something like that, because even Canada, they invest in the nature gas pipes in all over the country that actually against the SDGs goals and something like that. But they need to do that because they need money to the future, the cleaner future. But fortunately, I think, in my opinion, palm oil is different. We don't talk this like the same with omnibus law, oligarchy, or everything. Palm oil is different because I uh, before I thought that our government is always bullshit about palm oil, that they said the Europe boycott because the war against sunflower seeds. But actually, that's true because I talk with some expert and with some Japanese company. Palm oil is the future. Palm oil is the biomass energy solution, the most effective and the most efficient. Why? Because uh, even now in our bread, in our food, in our glass, in everything, that's include palm oil, and palm oil cannot plant in anything. Palm oil only can plant in the tropical country. And now with the newest technology, with the newest technology, so the palm kernel oil is just produced like proceed like they already use now for the food and everything, and they also have stearin. If Indonesia, do you know the program from Mr. Jokowi, our president, B30? So they mix the 30% of the palm oil with the nature oil, become the, or say, pertalite or something like that. In Japan, they they have technology that can almost 100% from palm oil. Then that's only the oil from the palm oil. They also can proceed the how to say, the PKS, palm kernel shell. Palm kernel shell, also we said changkang. Before it's only trash. People only just throw it away. But now they can screening that, they can proceed that, so it become the substitute of coal. So in the future, there's no coal mining anymore because it can change with the from PKS, palm kernel shell. And why maybe Greenpeace also backed by America, because the PKS rifle is the, how to say, the pinus tree, from the tree of the pinus, pohon pinus, how to say pohon pinus. But the one from America is too high, the price. In Indonesia, that's to the price is really good, and the calorie is better than coal. So that's why this coal, yeah, what in Mr. Kibo also eating palm oil. So you want to ban any palm oil in the world, but you always eat that every day. So and also in the future, they will proceed also the EFB, empty fruit bunch, the bunch that now also the trash. Now in the future, they can proceed that become energy. Also the old palm tree, old palm trunk, the tree that already 25 years, they can proceed into the energy. So I think and how about the environment? I think the Corindo cannot do anything wrong, because if they have a plantation, if they want to sell the result, the produce of the palm oil to the Europe, to Japan, they need certificate called RSPO, round table sustainable of palm oil, or RSB, roundable sustainable biomass, that managed by Uni Europa. So they cannot tell lie. If they cannot get that, they cannot sell anywhere. So I think Corindo must think about that, and they don't took the protected island, protected forest and something like that, because they need to do correctly so they can sell any production from the plantation. If they don't get the certification from the United Uni Europa, they cannot sell anywhere. It's really, how to say, wasting money. And about oligarchy, yes, big. there's some big company that how to say uh, have this plantation, but I'm from North Sumatra. I have I have some families and friends that came from North Sumatra and Aceh province, that we already mature about this environment with palm oil. I know that many normal people like us got rich from the palm oil. Even I have neighbor in Binjai, North Sumatra. Actually, their house is like a slum house, but they have a little bit how to say the backyard, and they have 2 kids. So they plant only 2 palm oil tree. It's enough one for one each for each children's for the school fees. It's enough only 2 trees. So they it's how to say, if the people get educated about the palm oil, they also can get benefit from that. Even with the palm oil, we can do investment in another country, like the Africa. Now many our company there and our people also work there because we professional about that, about the palm oil is from Indonesia. And yeah, so we only need to how to manage this. And so this my conclusion is the palm oil is the future, and this also will the substitute of the coal energy, anything mining that bad for environment. The second is that the any company will think about the RSPO, the roundable sustainable palm oil, and roundable sustainable of bioenergy, because if they don't get that, they cannot sell anywhere. The last is that who can get benefit from palm oil? Not only oligarchy, not only big companies, but also small people like us, if we get educated enough for that. So, but of course, that's need time to educated people, I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. for your argument. Well, I see that Miss Cristiana would like to share her ideas. Well, then it's your Miss.
I still can't hear you. There is no voice.
Miss Christiana's time is yours. I'm still unable to hear you,
Yeah,
Miss Christiana.
let's continue. Can I hear your voice?
Perhaps you can plug out your earphone and then just try to speak again.
Yeah, just take another speakers.
Okay, yes. We will wait for Diana. Um, let me continue for this slide. There are some debatable arguments about who's actually responsible for this issue for Papua forest fires. Some people assume that it's probably group mistake because they do fire to clear the land and change into the palm oil itself. And then others also assume that it's government responsibility of this topic because yeah, Corindel wouldn't do or clear the land or perhaps do their business in Indonesia if there's no uh, allowance from the government itself. But uh, many people out there also um, assumes that it also brings these mistakes of forest fires in Papua amid the news that currently happening in Indonesia. Because why? Because Greenpeace stated or shared the news about forest fires in Papua in this year in 2020, but actually um, that activity has been done or the what is that the video the visual investigation actually has been done in previous years, so it's not the latest video that taken in 2020. That's why let's discuss about this. um who's actually responsible, who actually should be blamed about this topic. Is there any participants that would like to give their ideas or give their opinion about this? Yeah, I see Mr. Ahmad Fatullah Putra. 10 is yours, Mr.
Okay, thank you for this precious time. I will not give any komentar from Mr. Fatan because I think that is great too. Um, okay, I just want to answer this question. Who's to blame? Ah, shit. It's kind of a terrible question to me actually. But when we change it or paraphrase it to the other paraphrase, who's to be uh, responsible for this occasion? I think the whole of them need to be responsible to these actions, particularly to those victims, the indigenous people. How about their life? How about their future? So those actor should give a huge attention to those people, to the indigenous people who has been the victims of these actions. And I think the whole of them are the uh, sectors actors who should be who should be responsible to these actions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Well, let's hear for the Mr. Fibo opinion. 10 is yours, Mr.
Yeah. To continue what Mr. Afida says, besides we have to improve the education sector, especially in the central remote area in these countries, and also we are as the people that stay in the big city that educated, we have to do a big campaigns. We have to do a kind of the thing that how to make the people realize if still many cities, still many regions, still lack of education, lack of facilities, and others. One of them is one of them is we can invite all the K-popers in Indonesia to focus on, especially in forest Papuan fires, because one of the stakeholders is coming from Korea. So this is the reason that for all of you are K-popers that has been produced millions of K-popers in Indonesia, I suppose that it will trying to give the impact, especially for our nations, to really care about the forest, to really care about the education, and a kind of the thing how to make Indonesia still a comfort to live. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Uh, Miss Christiania, I think you already fixed your problems. Well, can you share me?
Okay, hello everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, okay. Sorry for the problem. I know I changed the phone. Yeah. For the first, thank you very much for this occasion, Miss. And about what's that? Forest fires. As we know, forest fires in Papua have been an issue since long ago in Indonesia, right? And based on the data, I have found that Greenpeace International with the forensic architecture found the data that about Corinda's group are deliberately burning the forest. The Corinda's group has controlled Papua's largest palm oil plantation since 2001. They control about what's that 5,700 hectares in the forest of Papua. This this broad is almost the equivalent of Seoul, the capital of South Korea. But on the issue, Corinda's group denied by comparing the results of Forest Stewardship Council (FCC). Yeah, FCC said that it is not true that Corinda's group is deliberately and illegally burning a forest, and this um, reinforced the investigations of what's that? How to say Dinas Kehutanan dan Perkebunan, yeah, in Merauke. They claim that land clearing was done mechanically and without burning down the forest. Yeah, and the other fact is that how to say penegak hukum lingkungan hidup dan kehutanan, ya Kementerian LHK Republik Indonesia said that the Corindas group didn't do illegal deforestation and that it had obtained permission to law enforcers. Oh yeah, said that the Corindas group didn't do illegal deforestation and that it had obtained a permission to was that to open or to use the forest area from the ministry. So it's meaningful that the government has given Corinda's group permission to use the forest to become a plantation for 65 years. But on the other hand, the result of Greenpeace have what's that proof bukti that it was Corinda's group doing forest burning during 2011 and until 2016. Yeah, and it means uh, it means to me that the government should thoroughly investigate this problem because yeah, I don't think it's over or finished until now that the issue of forest fires in Papua is being discussed again and again. Yeah, and then in my point of view, I think the government should investigate the problem thoroughly and then make a policy that will also what's that give the benefit to Papua's people and finally find a solution to reduce the adverse effects or that impact of palm oil plantation. Yeah, I think that's all my opinion. Thank you very much.
Nada was actually out for a moment before. So someone who's gonna speak, just raise your hand.
I guess you want to speak.
Okay.
I disagree.
No, you, Mr. Ranga.
Okay. All right. Thank you for
Guys here.
okay the opportunity. Miss Nada, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay. You can choose another person who's going to speak up, especially the one who hasn't spoken up yet. You can choose them.
Again, thanks for Miss Cristiana for your arguments. Perhaps anyone wanna give another sides of perspective?
No, Aji.
Can I for a moment?
Okay, Mr. Aji.
Because I cannot raise my hand.
Yeah, I want to point thing out. Mr. Ranga, come on, Mr. Ranga.
Okay, Mr. Rangga. Yours.
Okay. Yeah, it's debatable issues. I've been enjoying the discussion so far. And if we are talking about who's to blame, perhaps someone thinks that it is not that important because we still find out the solution. But on the other hand, we will find the solution after we find the root of the problem, after we find the someone who did bad before. So it will influence better future. So in terms of this question, I think it is so complicated. Of course, Papua is one of the lands of Indonesia that have been destroyed by the building, the development of industries. I'm seeing as well in Borneo, in my place, there are many destructions of the forest, and in Sumatra as well. Sulawesi and many others, and they are have connected with each other. Um, to be honest, as indigenous people like myself, actually one of my indigenous people here in my area, we could actually live without any emergence of big companies. Actually, we could easily um, do planting back then. We could still be alive. In addition to Papua as well, in the past they could actually be alive with their hunting habits, right? They could even still eat, sagu, right? However, still the emergence of the companies, especially in Indonesia since the Suharto's era, their life was uh, has changed in many ways, like how the way they eat, how the way they how the way they dress, how the way they attract people are different since the emergence of these companies, right? They even cannot, conduct hunting again anymore so far. So from my point of view, of course, the emergence of corporations are something that we have to blame. Um, and nevertheless, the emergence of them would definitely protect and promote by the policies given by the government. So it has they possess connections with each other. So when we can you know find the root of the problem, we can solve it. Yes, from what has been said, um, we should blame the emergence of the governments, and we need to change, I think, the habit of what has been happening right now. However, I suppose we cannot change it by itself. It should be encouraged. It should be triggered by indigenous people in its area. We can, take many examples from Latin America, like Bolivia, um, Brazil, and others that have almost similar conditions like Indonesia, in which many companies are a lot displacing many indigenous people. They, um, you know, they fought to the big companies, and even they have their own organizations, and even they built their own policies from the government, since they have strong um, movements. I think Indonesians and Papuans should emulate that way to make us um, have more sovereignty. As educated people, I think we should educate it, and we should take closer to them to make our own movements to better future. Since, as I mentioned on the chat box, whatever the energy is, whatever the policies are, as long as indigenous people, people from grassroots, uh, don't have their own sovereignty, the policies will still harm them, I think. Yes, that's my short viewpoint. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry if it was not that clear.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rangga. And perhaps Mr. Aji, do you wanna add your opinion? Or
I want to pointing out one person here, maybe Miss Siti Hardianti first. Okay, that's my speaking. It's my turn.
okay, okay, perhaps
You're able to choose someone
another
who hasn't spoken up, Nada.
yeah, perhaps another speakers would like give or shares ideas. Perhaps Miss Siti, Mr. Pucim, Miss Icha, Miss Sari, and others.
Just one directly, Miss.
You can choose someone, Nada, haven't been spoken up at all.
All right. Perhaps um, Miss Siti, do you wanna give your ideas regarding to this topic?
Miss Siti,
Okay,
time
at
is
the
yours.
okay, let's
Do
continue to the next speaker. Perhaps I think Miss Siti um has problems, or perhaps Mr. Uchin, do you
Okay.
wanna share your ideas about this topic?
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's my voice audible.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I think it is my first time joining uh, this discussion because of my friend asked me to join. Yeah, invite me actually. So I'm actually have no opinions regarding about government policy in a way they act to what is that um, environment. But in this question, who's to blame? I think we should do our best as to be a responsible person, as we also previously mentioned, because we lack of what's that education, well educated people. So it's our duty as uh, people who well know about environment and other stuff that we should try in the very step, maybe little by little, to change our way, how the way we act to our environment, because human and natural and environment is really connected. If another part is broken, so it will get more impact like unbalanced. So I think COVID-19 is one of the problem for from the unbalanced system in our environment. A lot of disaster come from uh, the environment because we as people sometimes greed to our natural resources. We want to use as much as we can, but sometimes we forget how to rebuild, to change our environment to what is that to change back into the better a better environment. And yeah, we cannot change the big whole picture if we can change ourselves. So it is, I think, is like our uh, homework. Like if we want to change the world, we have to change the way we act. So it is like change how the way we act first, and then we can change other people's perspective. It's like we have to give the example, trying to treat our environment. So maybe as for example, like put the rubbish and use the plastic not really much too much in groceries. I think it's one of the key to save our environment. And I think people in the Western, they also realize the importance of environment. It should be balanced, and they try to make another advanced technology how they can build, how they can rebuild the environment. I think that's all my opinion. I don't know how to say actually. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Uchin, for your opinion. Well, that's actually a good opinion too. And at the end of the day, it can clearly seen that all of um, stakeholders, either government, Greenpeace, or Cornelius, also relates each other. We can't directly put one stakeholders like only governments that's um, make mistakes in this topic, but yeah, it relates to another stakeholders too, and it's such complicated issue that's need many responsibilities from many people. Well, um, well, at the end, we also need to think about the preventions of the future forest fires itself. That's why actually some speakers in these discussions have mentioned several suggestions for the forest fires itself and for the forest fires that happen in Papua, or the forest fires that also happen in another regions in another area. But I would like to emphasize more, and I would like to ask again and discuss it together. Is there anything that can be done to stop forest fires in Indonesia, particularly? Perhaps another speakers would like to add their opinion about this topic, about these questions. Okay, Mr. Ahmad Fatullah, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. The firstly, maybe when the forest in Indonesia is extinct, that is the condition that the forest fire is stopped in Indonesia. And then, secondly, uh, if the eager or the intention to deforestation our forest in Indonesia is extinct too. So which one will be the winner of this competition? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And perhaps Mr. Aji wanna add or answer these questions. Time is yours, Mr.
Okay, I totally agree with Mr. Mohsin that we should do better. I'm as an economist, I've been working with a lot of professors here to promote that currency issuing government will have no insolvency risk. For example, to tackle the unemployment, achieving full employment, right? Tackling the poverty, inequality, and so many more, we can do it by our own currency, by the provisioning power of the government. I've been writing in the conversation and a lot of things, even though I'm still not professor yet, but I've been invited to join that. I will share a lot of idea about the economic things that can help the government, for example, providing the new understanding of economy that can maintain our country to be stable. So it is my best that I can do for this country, and for example, for tackling the problem like environmental degradation like this. And I will writing a lot of things about the Green New Deal, how we can promote the green economy in the future without causing any problem in our environment. And also job guarantee, I will write about this. And some of it, a little piece of it, I will share in my blogs. You can share it, you can read it later. The link is neweconomicthinking.blogspot.com. I will put my some of the writing there to make sure that all people understand about this. So I want to share the statement from Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Company. He was back then saying that when all people understand about the monetary power, I'm so sure that before tomorrow morning, the revolution will be happen. So this is my what that I can do about tackling this problem. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Raji. Perhaps another speakers would like to add some suggestions. Okay, I see Mr. Ismail Suni. Is yours, Mr.
Thank you. So it has been quite quiet right here, so I can give my opinion regarding the question. To stop forest fire, I believe that it will be significant. As I say, it's really checkbox. We need to change the segmentations of the product. We need to cut the supply or by changing the necessity of the society toward the product itself. By giving more research and developments the different type of the alternatives of palm oil. Okay, so it is the talks for those researchers, for example, like Afida Putra, that actually become researcher, laborator, someone expert in trying to test something. You need to find some advancements in terms of forestry technologies or agriculture technologies that can change the necessity, and how to also subsidize and empower those living in suburbs or underprivileged condition to also have the safe accessibility toward the facility that's actually provided by the government. So I believe that sustaining the equality toward the basic necessities of every citizen is something that must be prioritized by the government right now. For example, like healthcare, education, and massive literacy empowerment. I think that's the most basic things that must be ensured from the Ottoman government that will be in the long run bring such a huge impact toward ending of forest fire. I think that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. for your suggestions. And yeah, I think we already going to the end of our discussions. And yeah, I think that's all for our discussion tonight about forest fire in Papua. And I, as the moderator today, I'm really sorry if I made so much mistakes. And I hope that our discussions will give new insights for the speakers here, will enlarge our knowledge about what actually happened in Indonesia, which is particularly about forest fires itself. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you for having me tonight. And I would like to give the next opportunity for Mr. Angga as the host of our discussions.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Miss Nada. Give applause, everyone, to our great moderator tonight, who are Miss Nada. You were doing great, and thank you. You could definitely enhance both our insights, knowledge, and our English as well, because it is the intentions actually for our discussion. Okay, before we end this meeting, I want to show you some issues related to our English performance. Before, Miss Nada, could you um can you turn down your slide? Okay, okay, your screen. I mean. All right. Let me share my screen. Okay, I'm sorry because I didn't write a lot, but again, at least we could still find some new vocabularies. First, we have um, data. It's not data, right? But data, data. how to pronounce it well. Data, not data, but data. And then I always hear someone saying will be happen or will be happened or could be happened. It should be will happen only because happen means terjadi. Ya. Happen itu maknanya sudah terjadi, jadi tanpa be lagi ya. Kemudian cagar alam we could say sanctuary or nature reserve. Yes. Then we have adat. Adat means custom or tradition in English. Separatist, orang separatis. Ya. Separatism itu ideologinya ya, separatism. Mereka yang mau memisahkan diri. Kemudian betrayal means pengkhianatan. Then corporatocracy. Okay, it is a specific word explaining a society or system that is governed or controlled by the corporations. Jadi masyarakat atau sistem yang diperintah oleh atau dikontrol oleh korporasi ya. Nah, tadi kita banyak mendiskusikan soal ini. Corporatocracy. Pine tree means pohon pinus. Tadi ada yang kebingungan. Kemudian masyarakat adat bisa pakai indigenous people ya, lebih spesifik kalau ngomongin soal masyarakat yang terdampak sama forest fires. Lebih tepat pakai indigenous people. Kemudian penegak hukum, law enforcer. Okay, I think that's all from me for today. Thank you guys for your cooperation. So before we end this meeting, we wanna take a picture first as usual. So guys, please show your beautiful and handsome face to us. Please show your video. Okay, who's gonna take a picture? Mr. Aji.
Of course you. No, of course you.
All right. Okay, Miss Rayleigh, please show your video. Mr. Reed, okay, great.
No, I cannot. Sorry.
Oh, okay, it's okay. Mr. Febrian, Mr. Hudori, Miss Gusti, Miss Siti, please show your most handsome and beautiful face to us. Okay, thank you, everyone. So I will count. Three.
Am I good looking?
Please, smiling.
Smile?
1,
Okay.
2. Oh, sorry. 1, 2. Again. I cannot do that, guys. Please help me. Aji.
Okay, when I got it. Oh, wait.
Afida.
Where's Afida? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Again. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's done.
All right, thank you, Aji, for your cooperation. Okay, thank you everyone for coming tonight. See you next weekend. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Hello.
The last we say.
Bye-bye.
Yesterday you said tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Yesterday you said tomorrow.
Yesterday
You said tomorrow.
Thank
See
you,
ya.
guys.
You said tomorrow,
See you
guys.
next week.
Yesterday you said
Good
tomorrow.
night.
Yesterday you said tomorrow.
Good night, Mr.